This is Mix here. Welcome back to Dagonronpa Goodbye Despair. Everyone who heard the announcement are gathered in front of Monokuma Rock. And soon enough... Is everyone here? Do you guys want to go to the class trial? Hey jerk, hold it right there. What? Don't get in my way. You're a dumb little sister who's short a few brain cells. My brain works just fine. Monokuma, what did you do with Nekomaru? I see, so you've come to avenge him. Avenge? That sounds like he died. Sounds like, you say? Anyway, since Nekomaru is unfortunately unavailable today, let's just say he's absent. Now then, I gotta go first. I won't let you escape.
Hey!
You hear what they said? Don't worry about it. There's no way Nekomaru's dead. He's just trying to piss us off. Of course he's not dead. There's no way. Not in a million years.
Well,
More importantly, it's best if we don't worry about ourselves for now. If we just worry about ourselves for now, in fact, that one, yeah. If something happens here, every one of us except Nekomaru will die. Why are you so excited about that?
how
Who
about
knows?
it?
Maybe I'm just looking forward to seeing poetic justice prevail.
What
What are you saying,
yearn
fiend?
for?
You'll find out soon enough.
See?
And let's go.
I'm
Alright, let's hurry up and get this over with. Yeah, you're right. So no Nekomaru, which is a bit weird. I wonder what's happened to him. I wonder if he is dead. We stepped onto the escalator and ascended towards the gaping maw of Monokuma Rock. And that's when suddenly I noticed it. I noticed the lined up silhouettes keep getting smaller and smaller. But I can't turn back now. If I turn back, I won't be able to press forward. What the fuck did that mean? Let's go on the left and go down. Sorry, I'm eating while I'm recording, which is very bad. But it's a delicious, light and free Greek-style raspberry razzle yogurt. The elevator began its deep descent as usual. But nobody said a word. As we stood there trying to figure out what to say to each other, the elevator descended deeper and deeper. And when it descended as far as it could go, it finally stopped. The elevator doors opened slowly, almost tantalizingly so. The light poured through from the side, eroding the boundaries of the darkness. And I walked into that place.
Wow,
Feels very cheerless with all these empty seats. Well, two people are killed at the same time and Nekomaru is not here either. Nekomaru is not participating. If he's alive, you should invite him.
No,
Why
no!
bother?
That's... well
Let's
now.
begin. If you a long-awaited class trial, please enjoy it to your heart's content. Gundam and Sonya are my... No, Gundam, Kazaichi and Sonya are my main suspects. And so the curtain to the third class trial was about to open. Ibuki Miyoda, the ultimate musician. She was really loud, but she was the mood maker of our group. When I was with her, all my pain and suffering just seemed to melt away. Hiyoko Sennoji, the ultimate traditional dancer. Just from the look of her adorable face, you'd never know she was actually selfish and foul-mouthed. But she was trying to change herself, and she was desperately trying to come to terms with Mihiru's death. The person who killed those two is among us. I definitely can't believe it. Whether I believe it or not is irrelevant. Unless I figure out the truth, I won't be able to escape from this town. That's why I must find out, no matter the cost. For our sake. For our friend's sake. For Ibuki and Hiyoko's sake. And so, the curtain to the third class trial was about to open. This life-threatening trial billowing with hope and despair has begun. Here we go. I would definitely like to save my current progress, yes. And let's do the first half here. Let's have a look at our e-handbook today. We've got a few things. I've brought some new skills as well I want to go through quickly. We've got the Monokuma File 3, useless. Blood on the soles of Ibuki's feet. The rope used for the hanging, which we don't know where it came from. The motel room key, which was in her clothes, so it's probably irrelevant. Scrap of thick paper. This was from the carpet in the other room, and it was stuck to the baton lighting, which doesn't make any sense. Music venue curtain was the same as the one in the hospital that was used to block out light, so why was it needed to block out light in here? The step ladder had blood on it, so someone with blood on their shoes had climbed it or touched it. a candle was put out by somebody in the venue, and after they died. The surveillance camera unit was smashed up, even though someone had broadcast the murder to me shortly before. The AC temperature gauge was set to 86 to hide the time of death, so they probably died in a different order to what we actually think they did. The smudge on the floor was wet up because someone had been killed here. A semi-transparent blob with some weird stuff I don't know what it is was found on the door. Mikan, what did she say? Right up until the Monokuma announcement. Basically, this means that me, Fuyuhiko, and her are completely innocent under all circumstances because we were always together. Surveillance monitor video shows Hajime at the hospital. The surveillance monitor video is Ibuki hanging herself, presumably live, but maybe not live. Fuyuhiko's account. That would actually make sense in some way. Anyway, Fuyuhiko's account, again, that exonerates him and Mikan. Sonya's account. She says that Hiyoko couldn't tie her own kimono and went to the place to tie her kimono because there's a full-length mirror there, but she was presumably killed there. I think this might be a distraction and lie on Sonya's part, whatever. Movie. The killer copycatted the murders from the Wizard of Minami movie that Monokuma broadcast. Monokuma's account says that he sold the tote bag to the killer, so whoever put the tote bag on Ibuki's head is wanted, and the Wizard of Minami, again, it's the same movie. The ticket is also relevant because the day we saw it is stamped on it, so that proves the person was there on that day watching the movie at that time. That is also relevant, according to Nagito, who seems to know something we don't. Finally, set skills. I got a new skill I want to... Got a lot more skills now. What the fuck is it? Excellent blade, yeah, that's what I wanted. May as well memorize all of these. I think I've got most of these. I only like 4 skills, I just realized. Oh well, they're all equipped. Let's finish preparations. Let's get ready for a class trial. All rise.
Now then,
we don't need
let's
it.
during the if you. Oh well.
I don't mind starting the trial, but I don't really have a grasp of how the case played out. You know, because I was asleep the whole
He
time.
was.
Even if you do grasp it, you're just gonna confuse the heck out of us,
So
aren't you?
Nagito, unless he was faking it, Nagito and Akane are also exempt from investigation here.
But Nagito's not alone. I don't really get it either.
You're fine. Your head's empty anyway.
Okay.
Empty head? Huh. What's wrong
Sorry,
with
the
that?
sound just spiked there. I do apologize.
Listen up. The emptier your head, the more dreams you can stuff inside it, you know?
Anyway,
Yeah, can we not
we
just talk
shouldn't
about this?
proceed with the trial if those two can't participate in the arguments. Since he's the first witness, why don't we ask Hajime to explain the incident and the sequence of events?
Okay, Chiaki.
Then, let's start with when we split into the hospital team and motel team because of the despair disease.
Okay.
The hospital team consisted of Nagito, Ibuki, and Akane, who were infected, and Mikan, Fuyuhiko, and me.
That's true.
The other 5 on the motel team were myself, Gundam, Kazuichi, Chiaki, and Hyoko.
Spending the night at the hospital was prohibited, so Hajime and I had to sleep at our cottages.
I woke up at my cottage on the day the incident happened. Mikan came by to wake me up and told me that Nagito had recovered from
Mikan
the
could have done
symptoms.
it, I guess, in that time window, but that seems unlikely.
We immediately headed over to the
She
hospital.
seems nice.
And after we confirmed his recovery, I made Mikan rest in the on-call room, since she hadn't slept all night, while I waited in the hospital lobby. And then, I saw the incoming signal light on the surveillance camera blinking before our scheduled time. When I pressed the button to turn on the monitor, what appeared on screen was
It was Ibuki committing suicide.
a video of someone wearing a hospital gown and a hemp bag on their head.
But the issue with
Climbing a
Ibuki
step
committing
ladder.
suicide is the fact that she was under the influence of despair disease and was doing what anyone told her to. So whoever orchestrated that killed her.
Amazing! That's such a heart-pounding story! And then what did you
I
do,
wish Nagito wouldn't
Hajime?
speak, just in general.
I tried to stop them, of course. I rushed out of the hospital and ran to where the video was being recorded, the music venue. But it was
I
too
reckon we
late.
saw that on a delay. I don't really reckon that was happening in real time.
By the time I arrived, the person wearing the hemp bag on their head was already hanging from the ceiling. I thought I should tell the others right away, so I headed to the motel.
Why the motel?
Because it was close to the music venue, and unlike the hospital, there were more able-bodied people there. At least, that's what I thought. But the only person who came with me was Chiaki.
But I remember feeling a little relieved because not long after, We met up with Mikan and Fuyuhiko.
We were also looking for Ibuki since she disappeared from our sight.
After I rested for a bit, I started counting everyone at the hospital, and then I
Mikan's
noticed
account has some
Ibuki
flaws
was
in,
gone.
you know.
So I sprinted out of the hospital. Coincidentally, I ran into Fuyuhiko, so I pled with him in various ways to see if he could help me out.
Various ways?
Don't say it like that and confuse
Everything she
people.
says is laced with like sexual innuendo, obviously, but I wonder if there's more to it than her just being fucking shy and shit.
After I heard from those two that Ibuki disappeared, I had a feeling she was the person wearing the hemp bag. So I immediately led them to the music venue.
But the door wouldn't open. Since we had no other option, the four of us broke down the door.
Yeah, and then Hiyoko's body was also
And when that
inside, which
happened,
wasn't there 10 minutes
We
prior.
didn't just find Ibuki's body. We also found Hiyoko's, and not just that. Her body was taped to a pillar.
That's when we heard the body discovery announcement. Not once, but twice in a row.
And so we decided to lower the hanged body.
I like the way Minami's just hanging from the roof there by rope
When we
herself.
removed the hemp bag, just as we feared, it was Ibuki.
So that's how the case played out. Thank you. I understood it very easily.
Well, it's clear what the problem with this case is. When Hajime left the music venue, who...
Wait, how do I know anything Hajime
He's
just
gonna
said is true?
blame me, Nagito, is he? Huh?
Sorry, I'm only being impartial right now. And the story I just heard is clearly suspicious. Hajime, if you're the only one who saw the hanging video, and the first one to discover Ibuki's body, then you could be lying as much as you want right now,
I
right?
technically could be, yes.
Lie? Why would I lie?
Obviously. So you could make us ignore what might be an inconvenient truth for you.
Do you doubt me?
If you're not lying, I would like you to prove it. Come on, try to prove it to
He's
me.
so fucking mental.
Prove you're not
I
the
hate
killer.
you so much, Nagito. It's just as Kazuichi said, Nagito's the kind of guy who'll just confuse us and make matters worse. Damn it, I should have explained it to Nagito. I shouldn't have explained it to Nagito. I'm in trouble now thanks to that. Oh god, here we go. Make our argument. Let's see what happens here. Fucking shitloads of fucking things to pick from, holy shit.
Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki hung herself,
That would also be a lie.
I don't think I can deny that possibility. After all, Hajime's the only witness.
why would Hajime lie?
Well, obviously because he's the killer.
I have no
Did
idea,
Hajime
guys.
kill both of them?
The fact that the bodies were imitating the movie means it probably is Hajime's fault.
Okay. I'm not the killer. There should be a contradiction somewhere. I need to find that and break through.
Hajime's testimony.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki...
That would also be a lie.
I don't think I can deny that possibility. After all, Hajime's the only witness.
That's wrong. Hajime's the only witness.
Damn it!
Fuck. I have no idea here.
Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki hung herself...
That would also be
I
a
have no
lie.
idea here, guys. I guess I'm gonna have
don't
to
think I can deny
try
that
a few things and I'll be
possibility.
right back.
No, that's
Okay,
wrong.
Apparently it's that one. I have no idea how that is a contradiction because to me that makes sense, but still.
I'm not the killer. I mean, there's no way I'd be able to imitate that movie.
Oh yeah, because I hadn't seen the movie. I'm a fucking idiot.
Of course you're not. I already knew that.
Huh?
Before the incident, Hajime had never watched that movie. His invitation
That's why he
ticket
told
is
me to
proof
hang
of
on to
that.
it.
Each person only received one ticket, and they're marked with a stamp that shows the date and time. Isn't that right, Monokuma?
Yes, no mistakes there.
Which means there's no way Hajime, who never saw the movie, could commit murders that imitated it.
Damn right, I just exonerated
Or
myself. Fantastic.
Did anyone tell him what happens in the movie? Of course no one did, right?
Hold on a sec. You're the one who brought this up in the first place.
Nagito, what are you doing?
Well, since we're opening with your witness testimony, I thought we should solidify the foundation. It also
Okay.
provides a good warm-up.
What warm-up? This isn't a game, you know.
He thinks it's a game.
Don't get mad. I just think warming up is really important. Especially since this isn't a game.
What a waste of time. Well, I knew it would turn out like this anyway.
Now then, since we know Hajime's testimony is reliable, let us move on to the arguments.
So this means Ibuki definitely climbed the stepladder all by herself, right?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Then that seals it. Ibuki committed
No, she didn't,
suicide.
because she was under the influence of the
If
despair
Ibuki
disease.
committed suicide, then who killed Hiyoko?
A murder coincidentally occurring in the same place as a suicide. Ain't possible, huh?
Like I said before, it's pretty clear what the problem with this case is. The killer murdered Hiyoko while Hajime was gone. So all we gotta do is establish who could have possibly done that.
They didn't do that though. But she was killed a
Then
long
let's
time ago, I
ask
suspect.
Hajime. How long would you say you were away from the music venue?
I couldn't have been gone for more than 10 minutes.
So they killed Hiyoko and taped her up within 10 minutes?
She's already
There's no way
dead, but they
that's
take the body
possible.
up in 10 minutes, so she was already
That's
in there.
why the killer stalled for time by making the music venue a closed room.
What do you mean, a closed room?
The killer blocked the venue door from the inside to try and keep us from entering right
Who
away.
showed up immediately after as well? Like, someone was already in
However,
there.
that door is the only entrance to the music venue, right? If they blocked the door from the inside, the killer would not have been able to leave either.
Unless that blob
Yeah,
thing is
you're
something
absolutely
different.
right. Which means, when we broke down the venue door,
I'm not
the
sure that's
killer
true.
was still inside.
I'm not sure that's true for you.
They were?
If that's the case, the only suspicious people are those who don't have an alibi for that time. And that's you two, Sonia and Kazuichi.
Me too?
What the hell? Why's it gotta be
To be fair,
us?
neither of you guys has an alibi.
The
for sure.
others all have alibis. Chiaki, Mikan, Hajime, and I all broke down the venue door together. Gundam met up with Hajime at the motel right before that. And if Akane and Nagito were laid up in the hospital, the only person that leaves is one of you.
That makes a lot of
There's
sense.
another person who doesn't have an alibi. You know, Nekomaru.
Me too!
Hey, why are you talking like... Huh?
What the fuck?
You're kidding, right? You're not up to something weird, are you?
What the fuck is going on?
Please stop making bad jokes.
Anyway, if the killer was hiding inside the venue, we should obviously doubt the people who don't have alibis.
Is Nekomaru, like, operating on Akuma right
What a
now?
wicked way of backing us into a wall. Is this his professional skill?
Killer was inside the music venue. Fuyuhiko obviously thinks so, but is that really it? I don't think it is. I think the blob on the door is something else. This, I think, is useful.
The killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside,
You locked it
No,
from the
that's
outside
wrong.
with the blob, whatever it is. Like some chemical or something, right? She said?
Hold on a sec. There's also a possibility that the door was locked from the outside.
from the outside. How?
There was a semi-transparent glob stuck to the venue door. Maybe that's what they used.
Semi-transparent glob. Like rubber, maybe?
More like glue. It's glue. Yeah.
I see! That semi-transparent glob must have been glue.
Glue?
Yeah, I think so too. It had a firm, gel-like chewiness. And I could smell workshop chemicals the moment I put it in my mouth. Based on all that, I'm certain it was glue.
I didn't
Okay.
know glue was edible.
I believe it is not something one typically eats.
Yeah, it's probably not a good idea.
That
Akane,
glue
to
was
be clear.
only applied to the areas where both doors touched. By pouring it in the gaps of the closed door, they must have sealed the venue door from the outside.
And thanks to that, a glob of glue was left where the door was stuck.
That seems a bit far-fetched to me, but I
It
guess
fits
so.
perfectly.
But if you just stick them together with glue, you'd be able to break down the door easily, you know?
That doesn't really matter. The killer only did that to make us think the door was locked from the inside.
That's really elaborate if someone
What'd
did
you
that.
say?
First of all, didn't that drumstick we found seem really obvious? Almost unnaturally so?
So someone broke the drumstick in
It
half
was
to
so
frame.
obvious that it makes more
create a
sense
fake
to
block
think
for
the
it.
killer placed it as a diversion.
Are you saying the drumstick was a trap the killer set on purpose? Then I totally fell for that fucking trap.
Apologize to Miss Sonia. And me! However, you're not allowed to slice open your stomach this time.
In a quarrel, both sides are to blame. That's why it's better to just have no sides at all.
So, during the 10 minutes Hajime left the venue, the killer murdered Hiyoko and created a closed space?
And they also taped her up after killing her, right?
Even quick work has limits.
Oh, what unimaginable speed for a slowpoke like me.
If they couldn't have done it while Hajime was away from the venue, they must have done it earlier than that.
But when Hajime got to the venue, only Ibuki's body was there, right?
And when you went back with everyone else, Hiyoko's body was there too, right?
Yeah, it was, but they killed
But it's
Hiyoko
possible
earlier.
that the body was just revealed at that time, when Hiyoko was actually killed earlier.
That makes sense.
Just revealed?
Of course, the body wasn't revealed on its own. The killer did that too. Here, I have proof.
That scrap of paper. Is that what we found in the baton lighting at the music venue?
It is
That's
indeed,
right,
Gundam.
but just what is this scrap anyway?
So on the battle lighting in the music venue. Now I should be able to figure out what it is. Let me look at my truth bullets a second. I'm pretty sure it says here what it is. Where is it? Scrap of thick paper. Didn't we have a look at something though? Wasn't there something in the room? What was it? I don't know what it was. It was a roll of something. Is it wallpaper? I'm gonna go with wallpaper. I think that's what it was. Yes, wallpaper, there we go. It's gonna be nice and simple, guys. Probably the easiest gambit we've had so far, I'm guessing. Come on, getting good at this. Or getting better at this anyway. This is going pretty well. This is going alright. I think I can do this. Get rid of the L's, get rid of the P's. This is definitely getting hard though. Wallpaper, there we go. Didn't actually get hit at all there for the first time. Wallpaper is correct. I don't know why there's wallpaper stuck to the light though.
Scrap. Isn't it part of the wallpaper in the storage room?
Yeah,
In
that's
the
what we saw
music
there.
venue storage room, there should have been black wallpaper that's the same color as that scrap. There was also a tear along the edge of the wallpaper, wasn't there? If so,
You're right. If you overlay the scrap that was caught on the lighting with the tear in the wallpaper, see? It fits perfectly.
Nagito's not so
I see.
helpful, but obviously he's so
the
two-faced
scrap
too.
that was caught on the baton lighting was originally part of the wallpaper.
And what's wrong with that? Does it have something to do with Hiyoko's body disappearing?
A mere nobody like me isn't important enough to answer that.
Oh, shut the fuck up,
But if
Nagito.
you guys were exceptional enough to identify that scrap of paper, you can figure this out easily.
Scrap of paper stuck to the back and lighting was part of that wallpaper I found in the storage room. Is it connected to the sudden appearance of Yoko's body? If I can trace it back from there, the answer should be clear. Alright, let's give this a try. What are we doing now? Oh fuck, really? I hate these. Right, logic diving, here we go. I can't remember what the break key is, but I'll try and manage. Okay, I already fucked that up. Need to get some speed up here if we're going to clear this one. Okay, this is going to be tough. This is like what's that game? It's like a rhythm game like this. You guys know what I mean? I keep hitting fucking walls because I'm an idiot. Question 1. Where did it was hidden? So we go left. Hyoko's body was hidden. That's why it was a crime scene. It wasn't brought there. She was killed probably in the mirror room, right? At least I think that's what it was. That's my personal thoughts on the matter. I just fell off. Because I'm a fucking idiot. I should probably not like accelerate quite as madly as I have been. Question 2. What did the killer use to hide her body? I mean, I don't know. Just go with the wallpaper scene as we said it was about the wallpaper, and that seems to be the big clue. I hope so. Oh yeah, because the wallpaper was on that pillar, right? That makes sense. The wallpaper was on that pillar. This is kind of crazy. Oh my god, this is actually difficult. What the fuck? Question 3. How did the killer hide her body with the wallpaper? They covered the pillar. Right? That's correct. You did it. It was hidden, the wallpaper, they covered the pillar. Those are my 3 answers.
It's all coming together.
So she was already dead.
I got it. Hyoko's body was hidden before we found it.
But it would have taken quite a long time to tape up a hidden body.
No, the body was already taped up and the killer hid it, along with the pillar using the wallpaper.
Can we see that shot again?
They hid the pillar?
Yeah, by wrapping the wallpaper around the pillar, the killer was able to create a slightly larger pillar.
So they killed Hyoko a long time
So
before.
when I first discovered Ibuki's body, Hyoko's body was already there.
Oh, that makes
However,
sense.
because it was concealed within a slightly larger pillar.
Yeah, that's
I
ridiculous.
didn't
You need an
realize that at the
insane
time.
amount of wallpaper to do that.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, it makes sense that you'd notice Ibuki's body right away.
So they used the baton lighting on the ceiling to hang the wallpaper?
Oh, I guess so. I
The
see.
baton lighting forms a perfect circle around the pillar.
That
so
makes
using
sense
it
more
to
now.
hang the wallpaper totally fits.
Then,
Put it away really
the reason
neatly.
the wallpaper was covered in so many stickers was to make it look like that pillar.
Damn right.
That's how they hid Hyoko's body, and then peeled off the wallpaper as soon as I left the music venue.
But the killer made a mistake. They accidentally ripped off a piece of the wallpaper, and because of that, a scrap was left on the baton lighting.
The killer must have been in a hurry. Their plan took too long. Hajime could have walked in on them.
Exactly. All of us could have done.
Going to the trouble of hiding the body and the pillar is very bold and risky.
But the crime itself would be much easier to pull off since they don't have much to do while Hajime's gone. They just have to peel off that wallpaper and stash it in the storage room. It's not that big of a deal.
That is true.
When was Hyoko actually killed?
Good point. And on that note, it's about time we shed some light on those imitation murders.
Okay.
You mentioned imitation murder more than once, but
Do we need like an idiot's guide to what
Are
an imitation
you
murder
kidding
is?
me? You haven't seen my masterpiece?
The Wizard of Monomi
Wizard of
2.5D.
Monomi 2.5D?
hey, don't put my likeness in your movies without my permission.
He kicks the shit
You're
out of you.
pretty noisy for someone who eats mothballs.
I don't eat mothballs. I just enjoy looking at them. I knew it. There are so many similarities. It must have been intentional.
Wasn't that used to throw us off
Ibuki's
things?
death by hanging matches the Scarecrow's death from the movie.
Which happens first.
Not just that,
It was
but
all a
Hyoko
fucking
getting
plan
taped
to
up
get,
after her
get the time of death wrong.
matches the lion's death.
It's as if both crimes were replicas of scenes from the movie, although the mutilated Tin Man was omitted.
But why did the killer go to all this trouble in the first place?
Based on
Mix
what
up
we
the
know,
things.
the reason the killer chose these imitations isn't
It's
that
all the
difficult
fucking
to
ruse
figure
throw us
out.
off. The reason the killer imitated the 2 victims in that movie, should be able to explain that right now. To mix up the killing order.
I see.
As I say,
The
it's
reason the
combat
killer
that leads.
imitated 2 of the murders from the movie was so he'd mix up the killing order.
Then Hyoko was actually killed before Ibuki?
A valid line of reason.
Yeah, it's valid. The condition of Ibuki's body suggests that as well.
What do you mean? If you're going
the
to
blood on
cry
her
and
shit.
beg like that, then I guess I'll hear about the condition of Ibuki's body.
I'm not
so
even
weird.
crying.
I'll let you sob as much as you want later. Just hurry up and tell me before I change my mind.
What a jerk!
Oh, I see.
So there's blood on her
You
sheet
want
of
me
the
to
ladder.
explain it to
That's
you,
relevant,
right?
right?
Because you don't understand what I'm saying.
An even bigger jerk? Impossible!
Look, Ibuki died because she hanged herself, right?
That's correct.
That means when she was still alive, her feet were touching the floor.
What's wrong with that?
But it seems Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was killed. That would mean Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki.
How light.
Oh,
Your
shut the fuck
words
up,
are
Duncan.
so
You're such
light,
weird.
as
I
light
hope
as
he
the
didn't kill
sylph's feather.
He's too
Your
odd,
opponent
you know what I mean?
is out of your league. It is too absurd to try to perplex me so inadequately.
Man, he's being
That's pretty
annoying.
suspicious. It's
First
pretty
and
suspicious he's defending
foremost,
this.
you claim Ibuki's feet were touching the floor when Hiyoko was killed. How can a low-class creature with no psychic abilities like you know something like that?
Because she was doing something that's only possible if her feet were on the floor.
Captain
It seems you suffer from a pathetic delusion.
You're one to talk.
Anyway, if this continues, we're going to just talk in circles. I think it's best we clarify Ibuki's status when Hiyoko was killed. She was standing up next to her. It's going to be, yeah, blood on the soles.
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
That's
I am
correct.
telling you to present.
Did you see her walking?
If her feet were up, was there any sign she stepped on something?
Yeah. Dan,
I agree
back
with
her
that.
up. We're backing up Sonya, even though I suspect Sonya as well.
Just as Sonya said, Ibuki stepped on something. That something was blood. There were faint bloodstains on the soles of her slippers.
That is not Ibuki's blood, right? She suffered no external injuries.
No, she just hung
Then
herself.
it's Hiyoko's blood.
Hiyoko's only wound was a fatal slice on her neck. And she died almost instantly, right?
If Ibuki stepped on her blood...
It means Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was mortally wounded. Which means Ibuki was still alive at the exact moment Hiyoko was killed.
Don't underestimate the power of the
Fuck off,
evil
Gundam.
eye.
Ready for this shit?
Is that it? A shepherd dressed in his Sunday's finest still reeks of lamb, Hajime Hinata.
Does
He's
that
on
mean
Gundam.
you have a rebuttal?
Does that mean you have a rebuttal? That's a good line. But are you sure
This is so
you're
fucking
sure?
weird. Why is he
If
arguing
I
with
show
me?
you how serious I am,
It must be
this
him.
world might be destroyed, you know. You're so
Here we go.
frightened you can't even make a sound. It seems you've realized our difference in status.
I can't explain.
However,
She's like, what the fuck is
the
going
time
on?
for conviction starts now. You better entertain me to the fullest.
It's on, fucking ultimate breeder twat. Rebuttal showdown, here we go. Let's slice up some fucking words. It's gonna be, smudge on the floor, because there's blood.
You're saying the
obviously
blood
there.
on Ibuki's feet belongs... Ah! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no... You can't step on blood that was never there.
Oh,
Just...
shit.
Did you see a nice nightmare?
Fucked up here.
You're saying the blood on Ibuki... Ah! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on the floor.
Allow me
There we
to
go,
cut
fuck
through
you.
those words! That's not it. The reason there was no blood on the floor is because the killer wiped it away afterward.
Damn right.
Don't say such foolish things. You don't have proof of that at all.
Yes,
Gundam, why
I
are you
do.
acting so suspiciously? Like a murderer, for example.
If you look closely, there's a streak on the floor where blood was wiped away.
When the killer tried to hide Hyoko's body, they probably cleaned the blood at the same time, but Ibuki must have already stepped in it, and the killer probably didn't even realize it.
The reason they wiped off the blood on the floor was so we'd mix up the order of the murders, right?
So the murder could
Even if
happen a
they're
long
able to
time
hide
ago.
Hyoko's body, it'd be bad if her blood was left out in the open.
Plus, Ibuki's body was left out in the open, and it wasn't bleeding from any open wounds at all.
Hyoko's body was probably wrapped in duct tape to stop her bleeding.
Actually, the bleeding will stop once the heart stops beating. So I don't think they had to go that far.
I don't trust Miss Dan
Aside from
necessarily
Mikon,
here.
none of us were aware of that fact. So the killer probably did not know it either.
Maybe the heater was running inside the music venue so it would screw with Mikon's autopsy?
That is correct.
That's right! I didn't know the time of death because of the heater.
The time of death wasn't mentioned in the Monokuma file just to keep concrete evidence from us.
Yup. Since we have all this evidence, there's no one else who wants to object, right? Then it's decided. Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki.
It appears that it is wiser to retreat for now. Fine then. But regardless of good or evil,
Why is
there's
he
no
being such a
deceit
cunt?
in
He must be
upholding
guilty.
one's convictions.
Can't you just shut up and back off?
Now then, let us resume our debate.
Wait a sec. There's something I want to run by Monokuma first.
Huh? Again? Didn't something like this happen last time, too?
Hey,
Still, it's probably
if the
worth
victim
it.
actually committed suicide, what are we supposed to do?
Suicide.
The same as always. You have to vote for who the killer is. Think about it. A suicide means you've killed the most important existence of all, yourself.
So this is like the Sakura incident from the previous game.
Unfortunately, that means there's no Blacken to punish, but I guess in a pinch, I can always punish Monami.
Why me?
Nagito? What do you mean? If
Well,
the victim
because I
actually
don't think
committed
we were even
suicide.
discussing this. Obviously, she was ill.
I mean, I understand Hiyoko's death, but I'm wondering if Ibuki was really murdered. For example, it's possible Ibuki killed Hiyoko and then committed
Why
suicide
kill
due to a
Hiyoko
guilty
and then
conscience,
commit suicide
right?
because she
That's
killed
totally impossible. Then she never would have killed her to begin with.
She was afflicted by the despair disease, remember? That means anything can happen.
But if Ibuki's the killer, she wouldn't have been able to falsify the sequence of the murders, right? After Hajime saw the hanged body, the sudden appearance of Hiyoko's body soon after means the killer had to be alive at that time.
That is true, Chad.
Then she was alive. When Hajime first discovered Ibuki, she was just pretending to
How
be
do you
dead.
pretend to be hung from
If
a
she
noose?
waited until Hajime left, that's when she could have made her move and mess with the crime scene.
She hanged herself. Remember? There's no fucking way she could have faked that.
Yeah.
And if she was going to fake her death, I think she wouldn't have chosen hanging. Her body would have been defenseless in that state. If anyone touched her, that alone would have ruined her plan.
I see. So that means there's no doubt that someone killed those two.
Oh my god,
I'm
he's such a
glad.
prick.
Now I'm free to search for the killer.
What the heck?
There's still one more issue on my mind. If Ibuki didn't commit suicide, then just what was that video Hajime saw?
Huh. So I was being influenced.
According
We've
to
seen the
this-
video a million times of Ibuki hanging herself, for fuck's sake, game.
Forced? Perhaps they used hypnotism
They
or
didn't need
something?
to. She was just really fucking
I don't know
assertive.
anything about that.
Don't say it all proud.
Putting that aside, it seems obvious that the killer did something.
We know she was easily
So,
fucking impressionable.
Maybe we should figure out who was able to do whatever that was.
So, an alibi. Then our plan is to destroy the weakest alibi. Since Hajime has
Okay.
seen the video, it is clear what time the crime took place.
But just to be sure, that surveillance camera doesn't have a record function, right?
It's a cheap-ass surveillance camera, you know? There's no way it'd have some kind of sweet recording feature.
Okay, so it was live.
Then, the video Hajime saw was actually live?
What time did Hajime see that video?
I saw it at the hospital, right before Monokuma's morning
So
announcement.
first thing in the morning,
And I
right?
saw the
7
body
a.m.
at the
Is it
music
6 a.m.?
venue a little after Monokuma's announcement.
So Ibuki hanged herself right before Monokuma's announcement. And since we established that Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki, that means the time that the murders occurred was before and during the announcement.
Then, we just have to find the person who doesn't
Do
have
any
an
of us have an alibi for that
during
time?
that time?
Mikan
Now then,
and...
I shall issue my decree. Let Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi commence.
Okay, so none of us have an alibi, right? Or do we? Do Mikan... No, Mikan and Thingy do. So, Mikan said that her and Fuyuhiko... It's one of their accounts.
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the others?
Okay.
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
That
So
isn't
everyone
necessarily
who
true.
stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi.
What about you guys?
I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
That's
I trust
not an
him on that.
alibi.
Aside from those afflicted by the disease, If nobody has an alibi, then...
That's wrong.
No,
Good.
that's wrong!
McCann and Fuyuhiko have alibis. Legit.
Hold on. Not all of us are missing an alibi. In fact, Mikan and I both have alibis.
Oh, both of us, not Fuyuhiko then.
You two have alibis?
Up until I saw that hanging video, Mikan and I were actually together for a while.
We even woke up together that morning.
Oh my god, you had to say that.
Hey, what kind of situation is that?
I accidentally fell asleep on top of Hajime.
Too much info.
Yeah, it's not like that. She just came to tell me Nagato's condition had improved.
And we went to the hospital together afterward. So we were together until right before the announcement.
I get it. You guys have alibis.
So
If
me and
that's the
McCann are in the
case,
clear.
the killer must be someone else.
It's better if we think about it like that. The killer decided to falsify the murder sequence to hide the actual time of the crime anyway.
So it's inevitable that an alibi for both before and during the morning announcement would be very important.
It feels like Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has backed us into a corner instead.
So it's everyone except me and McCann.
But committing an imitation murder, is that really all it was? Faking the time the crime occurred by falsifying the murder sequence, hiding their alibi in the process? Was that the only reason the killer made both bodies imitate the movie?
I would
Are
assume
you
so.
saying there was another reason?
I feel really bad for confusing you guys so much, but that's how I feel.
I mean, he does probably have a valid point
I
here.
think the killer had a completely different reason for falsifying the murder sequence.
The killer had a different reason. If that's the case, are we still in the killer's trap? Instead of trap set by one of us? If so, then whose and what kind of trap is it? I don't know. Oh, it's intermission time, it looks like, guys. Yep, trial suspended for the intermission. Here we go.
Hiya!
Hello there, Manami. The moss balls sure look tasty
Stop
today.
it!
Don't characterize me as someone who lives off moss balls. Here's some chance time. What's that? Now then, Nanami's appeal time starts now. What's appeal time? Your kind-hearted big brother is going to give you a chance to reclaim your honor. Good luck. Show those jerks who treat you like a red-headed stepchild who's boss. That's 99% your fault. While you were whining, your time's already running out, so please make your appeal simple. About 30,000 words or so. That's too long, I'll just be a boring appeal. Come on, if your appeal's successful, there might be merchandise opportunities heading your way. Then... I'm Asami, magical miracle girl Asami. I'm an itty-bitty girl who's sweet like milk. Jeez, and I thought a certain robot's little sister was supposed to be the
What
best.
a disappointment!
Who are you talking about? I have no clue whatsoever. That was just weird. I mean, I knew it was going to be weird, because it's always weird, but that was just weird. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this installment of Danganronpa Goodbye Despair. If you did, remember to hit that like button, and we'll see you for the second half of the class trial really fucking soon. I have no idea who the murderer is at this point. I don't even have a fucking inkling like the previous time, so let's find out who it is in the very next video. Stay tuned for more really fucking soon.